Lewis, what do you expect just from the crowd tonight in the first game ever for fans in Las Vegas?
Yeah, Max, I'll tell you what. We asked John Harbaugh that 2 days ago when we talked to him Saturday night. And, we expected the coaches to say, well, we kind of, whatever, it's just going to be some fans there. We got to concentrate, blah, blah, blah. He said he thinks it'll be probably the most electric atmosphere he's ever been around. And I think for us, I think we're expecting that too, because there are a ton, and I mean a ton of people in Vegas. Now, there's always people around Vegas, I'm sure. But there are people flying in. There have been people flying in all weekend wearing Raider gear on the street. And there's a lot of emotion for this game because of, how Raider fans travel. That people who are out here in Vegas are kind of living it up and being crazy anyway. And with no professional football fans having never been in this stadium, and you see what the atmosphere looked like in the college games that have been played in that stadium, the teams are prepared. Derek Carr said yesterday that he's prepared for it to be something where they have to adjust in a big way to how things were last year, which was like having a high school practice. And they're prepared to have that kind of emotion overwhelm them early on and then having to adjust to it and the amount of noise as the game wears on. So that's pretty darn exciting, actually.
Yeah, it's basically, Lewis, as you know, being an ex-Raider, it's basically Oakland, Las Vegas, San Diego, L.A., all Arizona, all that rolled into one, because there's 45 minutes on a flight, not less than 45 minutes on a flight from any of those areas in 5 hours in a car. So it's going to be crazy. Lewis, what will happen tonight with all the injuries in the backfield for the Ravens? What are they going to do in the running game?
Yeah, look, they have this young cat named Tyson Williams who was on their practice squad last year, all year long, who – I'll tell you what Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, said last year. They had an inter-squad scrimmage before, during training camp at the stadium, and obviously no one's there because no one's allowed to come to watch those practices or anything like that. But he said he left out of there that night, saying Tyson Williams, when he gets his chance, they were so heavy at running back and they wound up putting him on practice squad. He said when he gets his chance, this guy's going to shock some people because he's 6 foot, 225 pounds. He's fast, shifty, catches the ball well, smart, will block. That's the guy who, other than Lamar, obviously Lamar is going to get his opportunities, and he's going to have to be big. He knows that, and that's a given. Everybody knows that. But this kid, number 34, watch him because he's going to get a ton of opportunity, a ton. And he could be, Keyshawn, he could be that next running back who kind of comes out of nowhere, and then people start that argument about running back again, where it's like, hey, you don't ever need to really panic about running back because if you have a good scouting department, you can find one. It's kind of like yesterday when you watched the 49ers play. How many people really, if you didn't follow the draft, knew who Elijah Mitchell was for the 49ers? This guy, now Elijah Mitchell is probably going to be their lead back all year long. He's a 6th-round pick. And people go, well, how the heck did they find him? That's what happens at running back. Tyson Williams could be that next guy because he's going to get fed a lot tonight, and they're going to see if he's going to respond to that opportunity.
Lewis, Coach Gruden, 19-29, his record as a Raiders head coach. Some people say he's on the hot seat. How would you evaluate what he's done thus far?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I'll say this. I don't think John's on the hot seat. John's kind of entrenched here for the time being because of his connection to the Raiders and his connection to Mr. Davis before his son Mark, and how we all know that sometimes in a different situation maybe you wouldn't get the kind of leeway in terms of not making the playoffs that he's gotten. All right, so let's just be honest about that. Now, what am I expecting from this football team? What are the expectations for this football team? I think from all of us who analyze it, and really from the rest of the people who really watch pro football closely, they need to make the playoffs this year. They really do. Otherwise, you're going to have people the discussion is going to have to be had. How is he not being held accountable to the degree that other people would if they hadn't made the playoffs after 4 years of being at a place and having been given everything in terms of allowing to reshape the roster, allocate the money however he wanted to allocate it, pick whatever players that he wanted to pick, have a brand new stadium, all kinds of excitement around the football team. So I think, yeah, if they don't come out of the gates hot tonight, and let me say this in particular, I think the offense will play great. I think they'll be a 21, 24, 26-point average per game type of offense. It's the defense. It's Gus Bradley. It's all these new players that they have on the defensive side of the ball. It's Yannick Ngakoue. It's Max Crosby, who's been there. It's those kind of guys. It's Denzel Perriman, who they just acquired from the Chargers. It's KJ Wright, who was with Gus Bradley in Seattle. How are those guys going to take this defense from being the kind that constantly blew leads a year ago to being the kind of defense that can shut things down when the game is on the line and get them out of here with the W? Because if they don't do that, and it's another repeat of what it was last year, we're going to be talking about this over and over and over again with John. Like, how many years can you be allowed to be, subpar and not make it to the playoffs?
Yeah,
no
and we talk about John being pushed out. Derek Carr seems like, and you tell me this, Lewis, because you cover Monday Night Football, you've scouted, you've seen it. Why am I the only fool on the bridge ready to dive into the East River for Derek Carr? As soon as I say Derek Carr is one of the top guys in the National Football League, everybody looks at me like I got frogs on my face. Why is that?
Yeah, man. Hey, don't worry. I'm ready to dive in the river with you. All right. I've always been a big fan of Derek Carr. Big. Because you know what? See, when he came out of Fresno, he had this reputation, or like whatever. People tried to label him as a guy who couldn't handle the blitz, caved under pressure, has a good athletic ability, but he doesn't make those special off-schedule plays like you see now some of the real good athletic quarterbacks making. He can't make something out of nothing. And you know what? I think that one thing right there, Keyshawn, is something that they've tried to emphasize to him, saying this. We know, taking care of the football is great, and he does a great job of that. He does a great job of making decisions, but sometimes just let it go, man. Sometimes you're going to have to just take a chance. Your wide receiver's a shot. We'll live with whatever happens, but go ahead and do that to take your game to a whole nother level, because he's one of the smartest quarterbacks. I would say of all the quarterbacks I've ever talked to, he's in the top 3 or 4 as far as understanding this offense to the degree where he said, look, John will give him 4 or 5 different plays at a time in the huddle and just say, look, you pick the best one based on the look. 4 or 5 different ones. And he says that he knows exactly what he's supposed to do at all times. He said he could teach this offense the way John teaches this offense. And he has great accuracy, great arm strength, and he has the respect of this team. But he's in a division now with Patrick Mahomes. He's in a division. He's playing at a time now where quarterbacks are putting up 4,500, 4,800 type, passing yard seasons like they're just playing a video game. And they need to win.
Lou,
he knows that. He needs to win.
But Lou, he put up 3 straight 4,000-yard seasons under John so far.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.